If you've spent any real time working in a modern company, you definitely know the sound.
Oh, yeah.
That sound of a big new initiative coming down the pike. It's the endless mandatory alignment meetings. We have some branded T-shirts or stress balls.
And goodie bags. Can't forget those.
Right. And those motivational success stories. And underneath it all, that kind of sinking feeling that you're about to spend like 3 months talking about a change you could probably just do in 3 days. We just get paralyzed chasing consensus.
Totally paralyzed.
So today, we are basically taking a sledgehammer to that whole ritual.
I like the sound of that.
We're diving into this fantastic article by Szilvia Olah. It's called, "Who Needs All That Corporate Hype? Why Buy-in is Overrated and Execution is Everything."
And it is fantastic. Very contrarian.
Oh, absolutely. It's just a brilliant, no-nonsense takedown of, well, pretty much the entire change management industry as we know it.
That's right. And our mission here for this deep dive is really to unpack the hard truth she's getting at.
Which is?
That organizational change. It's actually simple, fundamentally simple. It's the fear, our human fear of conflict, of maybe being held accountable, of avoiding those tough decisions. That's what makes us build this whole theatrical production around it.
Okay.
So we're going to explore why just crisp execution driven by clear decisions, maybe even, unilateral ones, is the only thing that really pushes a business forward.
And Olah kicks it off with this incredibly powerful story, right? It really sets the stage.
Yeah, it does.
She talks about being asked how her company pulled off this massive growth going from, 2,500 properties to 5,500 in under a decade.
Huge growth. And you expect some complicated answer.
Exactly, like some revolutionary framework or a new consultant they hired.
Yeah.
Something complex. But the answer she gives, she calls it brutally simple.
Love that phrasing.
Leadership made a decision. The team executed. End of story.
Boom.
She specifically says no committees, no consultants mapping out every breath, no endless alignment sessions.
Wow.
I mean, that one story just blows up the whole idea that you need months of debate for big changes.
It really does. It just exposes that huge gap, right, between what we say we need, perfect alignment, everyone holding hands, and what actually gets results in business, which is discipline and making a decision.
We've just created so much drama around something that just needs action.
Exactly. Unnecessary drama.
Okay, so let's really unpack this critique. We know the endless meetings feel bad, but what's the full picture? What are all the bits and pieces Olah points to in this corporate hype machine?
Right. It's like the whole buffet of modern workplace distractions, isn't it?
Yeah.
She lists all these things that honestly seem designed to treat professionals like they need constant emotional hand-holding.
Like what specifically?
Okay, so she calls out celebrating tiny, almost trivial small wins. Those motivational success stories that, let's be honest, nobody really buys into. The alignment meetings that just seem to restate decisions someone already made. Using ambassadors to try and sell the change internally.
Oh, the ambassadors, yeah.
And of course, the corporate away days, the branded pens and mugs, all that stuff.
The core critique here, reading between the lines, it feels like she's saying this whole circus is built for people who need someone else to motivate them.
Yes.
Just to do the job they're already getting paid for.
Precisely. She uses this really cutting comparison. It's like people who need a personal trainer just to show up and, do the basics at the gym.
Right.
These are professionals. They're paid to execute. But the company spends all this time and money trying to, persuade them to actually be professional.
Makes you wonder, is all this drama really necessary for grown adults whose job description literally includes execution?
It's a fundamental question. And where did this obsession even come from? This need to manage everyone's feelings about change?
She has that one line. It's kind of provocative, but it sticks with you.
Which one?
Olah suggests, maybe half-jokingly, that the whole corporate buy-in thing must have been born around the same time gentle parenting became popular.
Yeah. That's such a sharp analogy. Because it implies this need to coddle adult employees, right? You can't just give clear direction. You have to explain the why behind the why, validate their feelings, wait till they're, emotionally ready.
It turns managing people into this constant negotiation.
Yeah.
Instead of just, professional direction based on expertise.
Exactly. It's like we've collectively talked ourselves into believing that real change needs tons of time, mindset shifts, everyone has to agree, total alignment, the perfect plan.
It feels democratic almost.
It has that flavor, yeah. But it just leads to gridlock. Olah argues the truth is much simpler. Change happens the second leadership decides, says this is the new way, and people start doing things differently. The rest is execution.
So when you look at companies that actually do execute change, well, not just small tweaks, but big, meaningful shifts.
Right, the profitable ones.
They tend to move away from that consensus model, don't they? They seem to realize you need experts making the call on direction.
Absolutely. You need the people who understand the landscape deciding where to go, and everyone else needs to focus their energy on how to get there effectively. Implementation.
Which brings us to this alternative model she mentions, the Netflix captain model.
Yes. A fantastic concrete example of just GSD getting stuff done without all the performance art.
Okay, let's break that down, because if you're listening and you're used to change by committee, this probably sounds kind of scary. How does the captain model actually work?
So the structure is pretty clear. One person, the informed captain, gets full ownership of the decision. The call is theirs.
Informed being the key word there.
Crucial. Their job isn't just to decide off the cuff. They have to gather a ton of context. They have to genuinely listen to all the important dissent from stakeholders.
So they hear people out.
Deeply. They gather the data, they understand the pushback, the risks, everything.
Okay, but then,
and this is the key difference, they don't put it to a vote. They take all that input, process it, and they decide. They are the single point of accountability.
they make the call.
They make the final judgment call on the best path forward. And they own that decision, win or lose.
And the team's role after that decision, that's where the speed really kicks in, right? She puts it so bluntly.
Disagree, commit, move, done.
Love that. Just boom.
It's absolutely vital. The team's input is valued hugely before the decision. Their expertise matters. But once the captain makes the call...
Then it's execution time.
Right. Your job instantly switches to committed, high-quality execution. It's not about whether you personally like the decision anymore or if you think it's perfect. It's now the task at hand. Do the job.
Okay, I can almost hear someone listening, maybe from a more traditional legacy company, pushing back right now.
Sure.
Like, okay, sounds great for Netflix, but in my world, isn't the captain just the VP who already has the power? Aren't we just putting a fancy name on dictatorship? How does this model stop it from just becoming pure top-down autocracy?
That's a really fair challenge.
Yeah.
And Olah tackles it head on. She actually says organizations are inherently autocratic in how they're governed. And maybe they should be.
Okay, that sounds provocative again.
It does, but she adds a crucial nuance immediately. Autocratic does not mean dictatorship.
What's the difference in this context?
It boils down to transparency and accountability. Being autocratic, in her view, means clarity. It means presenting the problem and the potential solutions openly, actively seeking real feedback, considering all the context you gathered.
So it's not arbitrary.
No, a captain can't just decree something random. They have to be able to justify the decision, explain the logic, and this is critical, they have to own the failure if it goes wrong.
Ah, the ownership part.
Yes. If 50 people on your team warned you this change would crash and burn, and you pushed ahead anyway, you own that outcome completely. The system demands competence and transparency. A real dictator usually avoids both of those.
Okay, that makes sense. So now let's tackle that sacred cow. Universal buy-in. If the endless meetings and hype are just theater, where does the real buy-in happen? Or does it?
Olah is absolutely ruthless on this point, just cuts right through it.
How so?
She argues the ultimate, the actual buy-in. That happened the day the employee signed their employment contract.
Wow. Okay.
They agreed to trade their skills and their time for a salary. And part of that agreement, implicitly or explicitly, is to execute the company's instructions, its goals, its strategic direction.
That really reframes the whole conversation, doesn't it?
Completely.
So if I signed up to do a job and my leader makes a strategic call that's within the scope of my work, refusing to do it isn't some deep psychological issue we need to gently coax someone through.
Exactly. All those extra buy-in conversations, they should really wrap up once you've done the due diligence, had the debate, gathered the stakeholder input.
Right, the informed part of the captain model.
Precisely. After that point, if someone digs in their heels and refuses to execute a decision that's been made, Olah says that's not a buy-in problem for HR to fix with a workshop or more meetings.
That's it.
It's a performance issue. Simple as that. And management should treat it like any other performance issue.
That is a huge takeaway, I think, especially for managers listening. Because the consequence of constantly chasing emotional buy-in is, well, we end up almost celebrating resistance, don't we? You see these case studies where employees push back hard and the business bends over backwards to win them over. It kind of gives employees the idea they have veto power.
Yeah, Olah calls that nonsense. Like, who told the employee they actually own the business or its strategy? Your job is execution. It's not necessarily agreement on every single point.
And this all circles back, doesn't it, to the root cause of why we build this whole hype machine in the first place.
Leadership fear, yeah.
Why do leaders outsource decisions? Why hide behind committees or consultants or this fuzzy idea of consensus?
Because fundamentally they're afraid.
Afraid of what? Being wrong.
Afraid of being wrong, absolutely. And facing the music if they are. Seeking consensus can feel like a safety net for your career right.
Ah, okay. If everyone agreed.
Then no single person gets the blame if it all goes sideways. It feels like leaders are sometimes more worried about protecting their own career path than doing what's right or fast for the business.
And there's another fear tied into this buy-in obsession, isn't there? It's not just fear of being wrong.
No, it's often the fear of having those difficult conversations, specifically the fear of removing people who are actively blocking change.
But rather than address the performance issue.
Right. They're too scared, maybe, to start a performance improvement plan or, heaven forbid, actually fire someone who's consistently obstructing progress. So instead,
they waste months, years, probably millions,
begging and pleading and trying to convince people who honestly probably never intended to get on board anyway.
It's like paying a massive tax just to avoid conflict.
That's a great way to put it. And the cost of that circus, the time, the resources, the lost opportunity, it's often way, way higher than just recruiting new people who actually want to execute the new strategy.
Okay, so let's pull back. Big picture. What does all this mean for you, the listener, trying to navigate this stuff in your own organization?
I think the core message from Olah is this. Change itself. It isn't actually that hard.
Really?
Yeah. It's all the stuff we build around it, the drama, the fear, the endless consensus chasing, the bureaucratic song and dance. That's what makes change feel so difficult and slow.
And there's a psychological piece to this too, right? About how we frame it.
Definitely. Change only feels real or big when our brain really pays attention to it.
So if you brand it, hype it up, make it this huge production.
You're basically telling everyone's brain, warning, this is going to be massive, difficult, stressful. You actually trigger resistance by making such a big deal out of it.
So the paradox is,
yeah,
if you really want change to happen smoothly and quickly,
stop obsessing over it. Stop giving it a fancy name and a logo. Stop making it a theatrical event. Just make the necessary decision, clearly. Communicate the why transparently. Assign the ownership for execution. Start doing the new thing. And help transition the people who are ready to move forward.
Skip the drama.
Skip the drama entirely.
This really makes you question the foundations of a lot of corporate leadership practices.
It does. Olah is basically suggesting that the very thing the change management industry sells, that whole elaborate process, might be precisely what causes so many change initiatives to fail. By creating artificial resistance and completely paralyzing accountability.
Wow.
So stripping away all that hype, all that circus, is the key to actually getting things done, to having velocity. It leaves you with a pretty provocative question.
Which is?
What common corporate practice, what meeting, what process are you still clinging to right now? Not because it adds real value or requires expertise, but mostly out of fear. Fear of making a call, fear of conflict, fear of having that tough conversation.